hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on. Where the fuck did it go? There it is. Alright. Go ahead, Doug.
Technical difficulties.
Nope, this was user error. Error.
Oh. Well, welcome to Exiled Opinions. So, yeah, we're starting a little bit early, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Good afternoon, memes. Good afternoon, Jelly Duck. Thank you.
This is not a planned stream either. This is just something that we threw together just to do. There's some things to address, which I will allow Doku to take care of, because I don't want to be seen as a hypocrite. I don't want to be seen as trying to bend shit into my favor. So, Doku, take it away, sir. Couple of announcements.
All right, so moving forward, we're going to try to be a little more tactful in the way that we run things. Don't worry, everybody. We're still going to be our same asshole-ish, dickish selves. We'll make cheeky, off-color, politically incorrect jokes. That's not going to change. The only serious announcement to make here is anyone that's on the stream as a panelist or a guest, we do sincerely ask that you respect the other guests and panelists on the stream. If me and Shandor decide, hey, look, calm your tits, slow your roll, buddy. You're taking a little too far. That bridge is starting to crumble. Please respect that. Moving forward, we're definitely going to try to not piss people off so much. Things happened. Shandor, I'm not giving you a pass on this one.
Oh no,
but,
I don't expect to.
Yeah, I'm not giving you a pass, but I'm not giving anybody else a pass. I'm sure our regular viewers know what I'm talking about. We're not going to get into it. We're dicks. We're assholes. We make politically incorrect jokes. We make politically. And that's what we're going to do here right now so that we can move past this.
So
we're assholes. Well, real quick, let me finish on this one. I'm going to pull a farty on you.
Go ahead, man.
We're assholes. We're dicks. We make politically incorrect jokes. We rib each other. We expect everybody on the stream to approach the stream in the same manner that we do. We're obnoxious. If you don't like that, you talk to us on the back end, talk to us on the Discord. If something really irks you or pisses you off, we're not a drama channel. We're not blood sports. We all like to be friends here. Consider it bar banter. But please do not make the stream about drama. We are about having fun and being pricks. And we hope, sincerely, that everybody enjoys our very off-color, obnoxious sense of humor. But that being said,
that being said, we do have to address a little bit of drama that happened last Saturday. I know this is Thursday, and this is almost a week ago, and I was holding off until Doku had a chance to gather all of the evidence and gather all the information at his disposal, and I just wanted to address this one thing. The last stream, I was being kind of a prick to Farty. Farty kind of rage quit on us. I thought it was in good fun. I thought, we were jesting in good faith. Apparently, Farty didn't see that way. I want to apologize to Farty directly if you're listening to this. I guess that's all I have to say about that. I can't promise I'm going to change in the future because, like Doku said, we're here to have fun. We're going to rib people, and that's just what we do. That's just how we interact here. And I'm not going to change, and I'm not going to promise to change for the sake of satisfying that. But I do apologize for taking it a little too far. And that's my stance on this. There were contributing factors, of course. Contributing factors I'm not going to get into. But needless to say, I'm taking my lumps with this one.
And before we move on out of this, because we're not going to dwell on this at all, that's not what this channel is about, and to be blunt, it's not fun having to address things like this.
No.
But just keep in mind, nothing we say is personal, and we're here, again, ultimately to have fun, and I would like to think we're all friends here. So
the big takeaway should be, the big takeaway should be is if you come on the stream, we're going to be we're going to be pricks. Just expect it, and expect to be a prick back.
Yeah, like you've never been a prick to me before. You're always a nice person. Totally.
All the fucking time. treat the show as you would a mosh pit. You want to get to the front. You want to see you want to see the band. You got to throw them elbows. Okay? And I think we can move on from there and get into our Marvel Phase 4 predictions. Sound good, Goku?
Yeah, and we'll... I cannot wait for this. Just to put the icing on the cake of that little last segment, I like to think that the fact that we're complete dicks and obnoxious to each other is one of the few areas on YouTube where you can find a show like this.
You're dwelling on it, Doku.
That's what okay, asshole.
I'm just saying. You're dwelling.
Don't make me come over there. I'm gonna pull a Twitch stream on you. I'm gonna throw your cat.
Promises.
Don't make me sell my bathwater.
Promises. Nobody wants herpes-infested and hepatitis-infested water, Doku.
Oh, come on, dude. It's Ebola and you know it.
I was trying to leave that part out of it, but okay. So
anyways,
let's get into this. So Marvel Phase 4 is coming up. And it is an entire year of Disney movies, ladies and gentlemen. An entire year of Disney not having learned the basic fundamental mistake they learned from Star Wars. And what was that mistake they made? Before you answer, I'll tell you. The mistake they made was making a movie every fucking year that's Star Wars related. Well, guess what? Making a movie every fucking 3 months that's Marvel related, every 2-3 months that's Marvel related, and churning out 7 movies, if not, I don't know how many in this year, right? Churning out 7 confirmed movies is not going to...
It's called event fatigue, and it doesn't sell well.
Yeah. Look at what happened to the Avengers events, right? Look at what happened to the Avengers events in print. People stopped reading Avengers for the longest time. Avengers was a non-selling book. And Doku can back me up on this one. It sold horribly. No one was picking it up because they were tired of, okay, well, we've got a good thing here. Let's strike while the iron's hot. The problem with churning them out so fucking quickly is that every single thing they do is to chase the same amount of money they made last time, and then maybe making a little bit more. But the problem is they're churning them out so fast that the quality suffers.
And Chandra, real quick, I'm gonna say something. I already tweeted at Yellow Flash and Ethan Van Sciver and John Talks and Geeks and Gamers, all this. We need to stop calling it Marvel Phase 4. Call it what it really is. It's all new, all different MCU, because that's what they're fucking pulling from. And if you don't know what I'm talking about...
Is it Marvel's answer to the New 52? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, well, all new, all different Marvel is when Marvel Publishing decided to put forth, female Thor in Civil War 2, and just the rehashing of the same shit that nobody wanted, but with less talent and crappier art.
They're just trying to push it out as fast as they can to make as much money as they can. But the problem is, when you churn something out so quickly, you are lessening the quality of that. And that's evidenced in the Marvel books themselves. They're churning out these pieces of crap books that aren't even fit to line bird cages with. And no one wants to buy that type of low quality crap. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants it.
God, I swear, if you line a birdcage with some of the all new, all different Marvel books, I'm calling fucking PETA on you, because that bird is gonna look like a frickin' tie-dye rag by the time everything is done with how bad the ink runs on those fucking god-awful things.
Oh, Christ. Well, I wish we had a clip of Filbert from Rocco. Turn the page.
I know exactly.
Turn the page. Wash your hands. Turn the page, wash your hands.
Oh, it's true. I can tell you from personal experience. I've bought a few of the books just to see if it was actually good. Dude, I guarantee you, I shit you not, I would take one of these books out of the fucking plastic bag and before I could even put it back, like I had ink running on my fucking fingers. I toss it in the back seat and the fucking cover rips.
Yeah.
Fucking
So,
terrible.
Straight Sith male, I guess, bowed out. Um, and
Later, Sith.
he says later hookers. But before that, he said Clown Galaxy. Yeah, it's definitely right.
And yeah, he's not wrong.
Jelly Duck says I don't watch superhero movies. Probably sad. No, that's probably the best thing you can do. Just watch whatever is being put out over in your area, Jelly Duck. I forget. I don't even know what kind of movies they make in Kuwait. Like, I would honestly like. I am honestly not interested, but I'm honestly curious as to what kind of movies get put out in Kuwait. Like, I know obviously Hollywood movies make it out there, but they can't make up like everything entertainment related, right?
I I honestly have no idea.
Like,
Your guess is as good as mine.
there was an Arabic knockoff South Park that I'm like, wait, what? I need some subtitles for this, please. I'm still waiting for those subtitles. So, Jelly Duck, if you know what I'm talking about, and there's English subtitles for it, please link me. Um, but let's start with, you know what? Let's start with the Eternals, right? This is one of my biggest gripes, having read, some of the older books and getting back into it, and reading the older comic books. Let's start with the Eternals. What kind of
You picked the
direction?
one that I'm the most on the fence about.
I know. What kind of direction can they possibly go with the Eternals? Right? They
Yeah. Yeah.
Jelly Duck. Oh yeah, I made a video about that South Park ripoff. That's where I saw it from. Yeah, so if you find one with English subtitles, let me know. Let me know where it is, and I want to see some of those episodes. But let's start with the Eternals. Because we already got Ego, right? Ego was one of the Eternals in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and I enjoyed Guardians 2. I thought it was an okay film. I thought the themes were really relatable. The characters were okay. I hated this. I hated the dialogue. Hated the dialogue. It was so bad. But I thought the characters were relatable. I thought the story was relatable. Um, and we saw Ego, which is a massive, massive misstep because Ego was never an Eternal.
Well, knowing how Marvel does things, I bet you money they're gonna like, oh, Adam Warlock, here you go, guys.
Well,
I guarantee you, he's gonna show up in the
yeah.
Eternals movie.
I thought there was an Adam Warlock movie coming out. I just
Oh,
gotta-
they teased it, but then it just sort of fell off the radar. It was almost an afterthought because this is my whole problem with Phase 4. Without getting too much into it, they have no fucking direction. They
But
don't.
would
They have no
you-
clue what the fuck they're.
But do you need Adam Warlock, and do you need the Eternals at this point? Because they're just going in an entirely different direction now.
No, no, you don't. The only reason you would do an Eternals movie at this point in time is if you wanted to introduce Silver Surfer, the Fantastic Four, and Galactus. And even then, it feels like an ass pull.
Yeah, I mean Galactus is an Eternal, isn't he?
Yes, technically.
So I mean they could probably start with Galactus.
But well, here's where the MCU fucks up, though. All of this should have been set up. Which, yeah, you set up Adam Warlock, but that should have happened in the Infinity War Endgame saga, not just some BS throwaway after credit scene. Even if you somewhat, like Bob Iger or Kevin Feige, if you guys thought you were going to be able to introduce Galactus and the Fantastic Four if the Fox deal went through, there should still be some kind of setup. This is the problem with the MCU going forward, an all new, all different MCU. None of the shit has been set up. They're basically starting from square one and expect us to just buy it because, well, it's Marvel and it's Disney. No, fuck off. Screw you
Right.
guys.
Jelly Duck wonders if Blade is coming to the MCU Phase 4. Yeah, he's definitely going to be in Phase 4 somewhere. I would hazard a guess either Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 because it's so far out of left field. That's what Marvel Studios is known for. It'll be out of left field in Guardians Volume 3 or it'll be in Doctor Strange 2. Possibly in Ant-Man, possibly,
Yeah, that's a bit of a stretch if you ask me.
but I see Guardians or Doctor Strange. I
I
see.
would bet Doctor Strange because the paranormal aspect of things that would fit for a Doctor Strange film, but I don't know. Maybe if they introduce Daredevil and then link that to Elektra,
Well,
yeah, that kind
we've
of might make
already.
sense.
Okay,
But uh,
okay, we've already had an introduction to the Nova Corps in Guardians, and we had a further expansion on them in Captain Marvel, though I don't know anyone who personally went and saw it. Um,
oh, Jelly Duck said Moon Knight. Actually, that would be interesting. I actually might go see that
Moon Knight,
if that's what they did.
no, Moon Knight is going to be relegated to Disney Plus. It's
But
going to
if they
be a
did, would
Disney
you go
Plus
watch
show.
it?
No, I wouldn't, because I'm not giving Disney my money.
Well,
Would I
oh,
pirate it? No, I wouldn't pirate it because I don't want to give Disney the attention. Which sounds
damn, you wouldn't even One Piece it. That's
I
harsh.
would not.
Ooh.
I okay. Let me rephrase. I would not want to, but I would probably watch it anyway just to see what kind of response as a cynical, sarcastic asshole I would give it.
I'll call it what it is. You would only watch it because you want to see how bad you can roast the fuck out of it.
No,
You
I
know
don't.
that's the only reason.
I don't go to movies just so I can roast them. Jelly Duck says Disney sucks nowadays. Yeah, and that's because they have way too much, and they're trying to do too much with what they have, so that the properties they do have don't hemorrhage money for them. They're on this never ending trickle of giving everyone their blood, and it's at an all time. I don't even know how to phrase this, but it's at the point where Disney is losing money hand over fist, with only their movie division keeping them barely afloat.
Well,
And in order to further cut costs, they're going to fire their writers, right? They're going to fire their writers and bring in cheaper ones. And they're going to restructure. We know they're going to restructure deals for Avengers. That's why they ended Avengers as they stand right now. So there won't be any more Avengers movies. Thank God. We've had 5 of them. It's time to stop.
well, and see, that's a good point you touch on because the biggest fault of Disney currently, as it is today, is they focus so much on trying to, vacuum up as many intellectual properties as possible, but they have no idea what the hell to do with them. Like, yeah, okay, I guess you can make a theme park, but I don't know, according to what I've seen out of Galaxy's Edge, they can't even do that right. Uh, but they
Yeah.
don't care about the stories or the characters or the IPs. They just want the rights to as much stuff as possible. And you know what? I kind of do agree with Jeremy and several other people, Nerdrotic and Geeks and Gamers and everybody else. They'll just end up fucking licensing shit out, and it'll be the same shit that happened to Marvel back in the 90s.
So let's get back on the role of the Eternals. All right, because I think we both know that this could very well be a starting point for the Fantastic Four, right? Because they could very easily introduce what's his called? What's his face? Galactus,
Yeah,
right?
Galactus. And
They
if they
could.
don't, I'm going to fucking bang my head against a brick wall.
So let's run through a list of the Eternals that they can bring in, right? So we know they could bring in Galactus. They could bring in Chaos and Order. They could bring in Eternity, right?
And the Living Tribunal would be the perfect one to do, but I doubt they will.
Without tying Adam Warlock or Doctor Strange or both to it, or without tying Doctor Strange and maybe Silver Surfer, I don't know how they would do it, unless they kind of went back and redid Infinity Gauntlet, but called it something else.
Well, you know what? They might just do what they're apparently rumored to do in fucking Rise of Skywalker and just pull some time travel bullshit since they already did that in Endgame.
I'm so fucking tired of the time travel shit, but we'll touch on that later. Um, So how is an Eternals movie going to work? Right? Who are the heroes? Who are the villains?
It honestly, the only way it's gonna work is it would have to tie in Doctor Strange, and it would have to introduce Adam Warlock, just from what they've set up in the MCU thus far.
So
But
I'm
I don't see how that's gonna work though by doing an Eternals movie before Doctor Strange
the
2.
only the only way I see it working is if they use the Eternals headline, the Eternals title, to go back and fix what they fucked with the Thanos arc, right? And start from the beginning with the Thanos arc. Because you have Lady Death. You have to
I
remember Lady
guess.
Death is an Eternal as well.
Yeah, and she was mentioned in the end of the first Avengers movie.
They've
I mean, yeah, you
never
could do
touched on.
that.
They never touched it. Like right after they, and then what kind of ploy did they use to kind of like to kind of explain that away? Actually, they did touch it. Now that I think about it, they did touch it. Red Skull's character, as it progressed through the Avengers arc, when
I mean, yeah, but that doesn't fit in with an Eternals movie, though. Like
it,
with the way they set it up and presented it,
but this is
I
the
don't know.
Marvel. This is Marvel
I'm,
cinema here.
it, I don't know though. I'm still calling BS on that one. The only thing I could actually realistically think of is they're going to try to tie in the Eternals movie to any number of shows they're putting out on the Disney Plus streaming service, so that you have to go buy their frickin' streaming service and watch it. The same kind of crap they pulled with the Captain Marvel movie going into Endgame. That's the only thing I see coming out of this. Because otherwise, it just doesn't fucking make sense. It it seems completely disjointed.
So I'm trying to bring up a list of what we know has been confirmed, which I think was on. Shit. I know there have been 7 movies confirmed, and
Well, I know there's Black Widow. I know there was
there's that.
She-Thor.
Yeah, there's Thor. There's Black Widow. There's um, what the fuck was it called? The Eternals was confirmed.
There was the Doctor Strange and
Doctor
whatever
Strange
of
and
Madness.
the Multiverse of Madness, and
There
then
was a Hawkeye, but I think that was Disney Plus. Uh,
well, it's still a confirmed
Falcon.
project. So you've got Falcon and Winter Soldier was confirmed. You have Hawkeye was confirmed, and those are the 7 movies that I know were confirmed.
Oh, and uh,
This is just 2020.
Vision.
This is just
Vision.
2020.
Vision and what's her face?
WandaVision,
Scarlet.
yeah, that was.
Yeah.
I think that was a Disney Plus show, though, wasn't it?
Well, that and also I believe Falcon and Winter Soldier is also Disney Plus. Actually,
No,
I think
that
Hawkeye was as well.
no, Falcon and Winter Soldier was a movie. I know that was a movie. I'm
Are you
just
sure?
I'm bringing it up now, but let's stay on task for the let's stay on topic for the Eternals for right now while I dig that up because I have to jump through so many fucking hoops just to get on. Here we go. Every Marvel Phase 4 movie that is confirmed and 15 that could be coming. So confirmed after Spider-Man Far From Home, we have an unconfirmed Vision WandaVision. We have Doctor Strange confirmed. We have an Ant-Man 3 unconfirmed. Black Panther 2 is confirmed. Nova unconfirmed. Black Widow confirmed. Unconfirmed Winter Soldier, which has since been confirmed. That's that's going to be the Captain Falcon movie. We know that at the end of the movie, Captain Falcon's going to, is going to be a thing. All right, he's going to be Falcon in the cap suit.
Well, of course he is, because
Um,
Captain America gave him the shield. And you know what? I actually don't have a problem with that. Okay, yeah, maybe it should have gone to Winter Soldier. I don't know, maybe Falcon and Winter Soldier share the shield and do kind of like what Cap did with Thor's hammer. I don't care that much about that one. That fits for the MC. It
Okay.
It is what it is.
Okay. So let's. Oh, you know what? Another thing they could do with the Eternals is Shang-Chi. They could be
Oh,
using the Eternals to lead into Shang-Chi.
but see, that's weird.
It's
If
dumb.
they did
The
if they did Iron Fist,
right.
that I could see. Maybe they will introduce Iron Fist. Maybe I'm completely wrong on this one.
They've done Iron Fist, but they would need to either incorporate or retcon. There's no in between here. They would need to either incorporate or retcon the Iron Fist Netflix show that they did, which was fucking terrible. So my money is almost certainly on retcon it completely, right?
And you know what? For Shang-Chi and the Eternals, to put Iron Fist in there, think of it as like, Wong in Doctor Strange.
You know what they could do?
If they did, that could work.
Yeah, if they did Shang-Chi and Doctor Strange, if they introduce, here's how I see it happening. You do Doctor Strange first. You use Doctor Strange to introduce Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi gets his movie on February 12, 2021, which is after the Eternals movie. Eternals movie is November 6, 2020. So you could use Doctor Strange to set up Eternals, introduce Shang-Chi, link the two together through the Eternals, right? Because Shang-Chi has had some dealings with them. Because it's going to be about the Ten Rings.
Well, and also, we already know Dormammu's already been introduced.
Right.
So
Here's my problem, is they've introduced the hand. But they retconned the hand by saying it was just a ploy in Iron Man 3. Right? The hand never existed. And it was just the one dude who was using it as a pseudonym for the Extremist Project.
yeah, the Mandarin and all that complete
Right.
garbage show.
Which means that the Ten Rings that kidnapped Tony in the desert to begin with were bullshit from the very start. Which means, spoiler alert, as good as Iron Man was, Iron Man 3 completely retcons Iron Man.
Yeah, which this is what my major concern is.
Let's
And
not
I think
talk
I said this
concerns.
well, I think I said this on Twitter. My big problem is it feels like now that the Russo brothers, for the most part, are out, it feels like the people writing these movies, they've just gotten all their information from some sort of pedia somewhere, and
Stupid
it doesn't
pedia
fit.
files. Stupid pedia files.
I mean, if you did Shang-Chi and Doctor Strange prior to doing an Eternals movie, that could work. But if you do Eternals first,
Yeah, it's really weird. It's really dumb. Unless Shang-Chi is like a prequel to the Eternals, because we know they're not above stepping backwards just so they can write themselves out of a hole, only to put themselves in a bigger fucking hole. Captain Marvel! Sorry, I had some bullshit stuck in my throat.
a bit of a cough there.
Just a little bit of stuck in my throat there.
But yeah, no, just if the timeline that they're going with is actually true, why the hell would you do Eternals before? That's what you should end with. Why would you put that towards the beginning? That makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
Unless you don't understand the source material at all, in which case,
Gee,
by all means, dig your own grave.
Imagine being a Marvel writer, and not understanding your source material.
Oh, I know, shocker, right? Like we've never seen that before.
You know, and everyone gives
Oh.
I'm going to bring up this little sidebar because we have a confirmed reboot for Fantastic Four. We have a confirmed. This is going to be the third time that it's been rebooted. The third time. If you count the 4 franchises that they tried to start with it, right? There was that one in 94, 93 that never got released to the public, but you can find on a torrent sites, right? Then they tried it again in 2003 or 2004 or whatever it was, and it was fucking terrible.
Terrible is
Jelly,
being nice.
Jelly Duck here in the chat. Cap, cough, tin, Marvel. Then he quotes me. Um, so terrible fucking movie. And then they basically redid it beat for beat in what 2016, 2015, something like that.
Uh, Actually,
That's
I think
not
it was 2016.
the point is that they remade it beat for beat. And
And it sucked.
those
It was
last two,
terrible.
those last two main Fantastic Four movies were basically people sitting around talking. Then you get the same shit in Ghostbusters 2016, people sitting around talking. And everyone who's seen it gives these movies shit for people sitting around talking, but they give Ghostbusters a pass. They give Marvel Comics a pass now because it's still people sitting around talking. Oh, look at them. I can relate to this because they're just people sitting around talking. I do that all the fucking time. I don't pick up a comic book to see a couple of fucking dummies sit in a coffee shop going, oh, how was your day? Well, I masturbated 25 times today. Look, my hand's all raw. I don't care. I don't want to
God,
read that shit.
You're just reminding me of that one scene from Avengers Endgame towards the beginning where they're all sitting around having their little group therapy session. It's like, no one cares.
Jelly Duck says the Fantastic Four is god awful. Yeah, no, it is. That's like that's stating the obvious to like the 10th degree. Like even Captain Obvious would punch someone in the balls for saying that. You know? Like I'm not saying Captain Obvious is a real character, but if he were, he'd be punching people in the balls for saying that. He'd be like, "That's my line."
Yeah, it's. I don't know what the hell Marvel is thinking, but the only thing that makes
Yeah.
sense to me is like, oh wait, it's Disney.
So
That's right.
let's shift focus and talk Black Widow because the only way this is going to work is if it's a pre-Avengers movie. That's the only way it's going to work.
Oh,
maybe
it has to
even maybe even pre Iron Man 2 or
be. It.
in
No,
order to
I'll
keep
tell you this.
Hold on, let me get this thought across. If they wanted to keep RDJ involved with it somehow, he could have a cameo on it. It could be right as he was doing, right as she was his bodyguard in Iron Man 2, or babysitter. Babysitter's more apt term, isn't it? So
Yeah. I'll
So-
give that to you.
she could be his babysitter, and we can still get that RDJ thing, and Marvel would still be able to get people in seats because it's Scarlett Johansson, and it's RDJ. What do you think about
Yeah,
Black Widow
See, the only way a Black Widow solo movie is actually going to work,
at this point?
because of what they've done with the MCU and how they treated her in Endgame, the only way it works is before she ever joins up with S.H.I.E.L.D., before she knows who Nick Fury is, you're going to have to take some of those flashback sequences from Age of Ultron, and it has to be a true standalone Black Widow movie from, her childhood to becoming an assassin to being treated like absolute crap to, at the end of the movie, doing what they did with the first Iron Man film, and she meets up with S.H.I.E.L.D., Nick Fury, and gets recruited.
So
That is literally
basically,
the
they're
only way
going to
that will
have
work.
to rehash Iron Man in order to do it.
That's the only way to work. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense.
Jelly Duck is committing a cardinal sin here, Doku. Cardinal sin of geekdom here. He said he's never heard of Nova.
Oh. Well, you know what? I actually will give you a pass because Marvel's been
I'll give him
such
a
trash
pass.
for so long. I don't blame them. Marvel's been garbage. So
I'll
yeah,
give him a pass as well, but it's still a cardinal sin. Everyone should know who the man called Nova is.
Yeah, think Captain Marvel, but with a dick and actually written as a good character.
Yeah, and he can only fly using his fists. That's like the most ridiculous part of Nova. He's like a laughing stock. Like I'm convinced that someone on the floor was like, "What do you got for me?" And he was like, he was at a pitch meeting, and everyone had exhausted ideas. He's like, we could do a new character." He's like, "Yeah." Stanley's looking at this lowly intern, going, "I'm so nervous. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do." And Stanley looks at him and goes, "What do you got for me, kid?" And he's like fresh out of college or whatever from like from getting his literary degree or whatever, and he's like, "I kind of had an idea about a character," that he's like blurting out nervously, and he's like, "Cool, what's the character's name? What does he do?" And he's like, he's thinking about his old Chevy Nova at the time that had just exploded on his way to work, because this is like the 1970s, the 1980s, early 1980s, and his car exploded on his way to work, and he has nothing else than a Nova. Okay, what is his super? He can fly? How? Did his hands explode?
He's got super powered fisting.
Oh,
God.
man. Jelly Duck says Nova kind of reminds me of Captain Falcon. Oh.
Oh. There's a really bad joke I could make, but that would get us banned off of YouTube, so I'm not going to.
Christ. Yeah, that would fuck us completely. Just
I'll leave it to your imagination.
Just bad Doku. Bad. Sit.
Falcon Punch.
So I don't think we can say much about Black Widow other than this is horrible timing. They should have released this movie a while ago, like 5 years ago.
A Black Widow movie should have happened before Age of Ultron ever did.
No, it should have happened before fucking Civil War.
I mean, at least between Iron Man 2 and Age of Ultron. That's when it should have happened. Because we'd care more about the character, especially if they're going to kill her off in Endgame.
I'm more interested in seeing how many people boycott this movie just because they didn't get it when we should have gotten it. Right after Iron Man 2, right? We should have gotten it right after Iron Man 2. That would have been the time to put it. And I'm interested in seeing how many people boycott it. And then I'm interested in seeing the Access Media going, hey, why didn't you guys see this movie? You, begged to see it for so long. Disney finally made it for you. The fans, well, for one, it's going to be trash.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying, for one, it's going to be trash, and for two, they waited too fucking long.
Well, and again, that's the thing, and this is what really pisses me off about it. People have been asking for a fucking Black Widow movie and some backstory for, I don't know, 5-6 fucking years, and
that's
nobody
the only thing.
Nobody did anything about it.
Here's the thing, though. This is the only movie Marvel fans have been asking for, right? I was kind of, when I heard Marvel was doing a cinematic universe, I'm like, okay, cool. I'd like to see a Deathlock movie. The best we got was a fucked up, gimped out Deathlock in fucking Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. How do you fuck Deathlock up? He was a lawyer. He got exploded in a car accident by some triad thugs or gang thugs, however you want to read into it. Got blown up by some thugs. Some doctor went all fucking Frankenstein on him and put his shit back together. Turned him into an assassin, said, "You're going to pay off your shit to me, and then I'll let you go." How is it hard to fuck that character up?
By not reading the source material and just getting all your information from a fucking pedia.
But, okay, just Doku, pretend I'm someone who doesn't know a thing about Marvel Comics. Not a goddamn thing. I was born yesterday, and I don't know a goddamn thing about comics. How much of that Deathlock comment was inaccurate?
How much?
How much
do you
of
mean
it was...
Do you mean the entirety of the character and the story arc? Like, literally everything?
How much of what I said was inaccurate? Just for the people playing along at homes.
What are you saying? How much did they fuck it up, or how much of the character is accurate?
How much, when I describe Deathlock how much of that description was inaccurate? Because I really want
No,
to know.
that's pretty much the entirety of the character. I mean, it's not deep. There's no
Did I fuck anything up in that statement at all?
no, there's nothing deep about the character. There's nothing unique about the character. Don't get me
So
wrong, still a cool character, still well
no,
written.
definitely,
But you
definitely.
like it actually takes skill. It takes a special kind of ineptitude to fuck up such a simple character.
He
And
gets
yet they still managed to do it.
We got a better Deathlock movie in the 2014 RoboCop remake. If they would have renamed that Deathlock and had it as a black lawyer who got blown up instead of Murphy, that would have been a way better movie.
Yeah, it's literally the same fucking story we've seen a million times. Like, hey, okay, you're crippled, you're almost dying. We'll rebuild him faster and try. Like, it's this tired trope. How do you fuck it up?
I gotta ask this to Jelly Duck. He goes, "Isn't it part of Cyborg?" Do you mean Cyborg, the DC character? Because Cyborg is a completely different character from Deathlock. Cyborg was a sports star. He was an athlete, either in college or high school. I don't remember which. I think it was college. He was a college age sports star, and his father was a scientist. And he was, had a strained relationship with his dad because his dad wanted him to do one thing and he wanted to do something else. And then he was in a really, really bad accident playing football one day. I think like he broke his spine and like some other shit got messed up. I could be completely wrong because I don't read DC. But
No, that's what it was.
Okay.
He got in a sports. He got in an accident. Essentially became a paraplegic for the most part. And his dad, who was very detached but also a brilliant scientist, who still loved his son, but being a brilliant scientist, emotionally detached, was like, oh, finally I have emotion for my son, but the only thing I can do with him, or the only way I can show, my fatherly and loving emotion is, make you into a cyborg so you can walk again. And then he becomes a superhero. There you go. So that's Cyborg.
He's not really a superhero at first, though. If I remember right, he goes fucking crazy and starts breaking shit up until he meets up with the Titans.
Well, that's because he's still at that time he's still a teenager, still angry at his dad, still angry at his situation. So there's that teen angst and family issues and shit.
Right. So in a lot of respects, now that we've touched on the subject, in a lot of respects, Cyborg is a lot deeper than Deathlock is. But
oh yeah, very much so. Because you have to realize a big part of Cyborg's attention and the reason that he was, a very, I guess say a toxic male, but it's a lot of that angst that he had because his dad was, he never got that kind of fatherly love or that father figure because his dad's too absorbed in his work, so he took it out through sports and working out. So the first time he ever got love from his dad was after he got fucking paralyzed.
Yeah, it took him.
But it's still that makes him way deeper of a character.
Right. So we kind of went off on a little bit of a sidetrack here. And yes, Deathlock is part of Marvel. Look, he was able to spell it correctly. Look at that. He was able to spell Deathlock correctly without having, and I'm assuming without having seen any media with the proper spelling of his name. Jelly Duck, you've already done better than 90% of Marvel writers.
Yeah, and some of the actors and actresses and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. still can't pronounce it properly, but no surprise there.
Yeah.
But before we get too far off topic, this is the one thing about Black Widow that pisses me off.
Right. What I was trying to say before. I'm going to give you the floor because what I was trying to do is I was trying to segue back into this, but I was like, cool, let's get a Deathlock movie, and I've been kind of wanting I have never made it publicly known that I've wanted a Deathlock movie, but they fucked him in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I'm glad they're finally canceling. They should have canceled it after season 2, but I'm glad that it's coming to an end. But they fucked Deathlock up so bad. So my hope for Black Widow isn't very high. People have been asking him, asking, and it doesn't seem like it was a priority, right? It doesn't seem like anyone was interested other than Scarlett Johansson, right? And we basically got the Black Widow movie everyone asked for in that movie. What the fuck was it called? Lucy. We basically got the Black Widow movie in Lucy, the only, with a plot twist at the end because of the drugs that she ingested. But my hope for Black Widow isn't very high. Because when I finally did see Deathlock, yeah, you can argue, well, it's a different version of Deathlock, and there have been many versions of Deathlock. There's only one version of Deathlock that matters. And they fucked it up. And that's what they'll do to Black Widow.
Oh, of course. This is the reason I have zero hope for Black Widow. First off, she was always a popular character for anybody that actually read comics. So when you saw her in Iron Man and you saw her in Avengers, yeah, people wanted a Black Widow movie. They've been asking for it for, I don't know.
For 10 years?
10 fucking years. So what did they give us?
Okay,
well, they
Jelly
give us a
Duck
black...
did do some research.
Okay. Well, still, you've done more research than the fucking Marvel writing staff, apparently. But here's the reason I have no hope for Black Widow. You had her as essentially a supporting character through how many fucking movies, and Marvel fans, both comic readers and movie fans, have been wanting a Black Widow movie for how fucking long? And then you decide to fucking kill her off in Endgame after introducing multiverse, and then you give us a fucking Black Widow movie at the same time you give us Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So unless you're going to give us a fucking origin story after you killed her off in Endgame, which, Soul Stone, spoilers, once you're sacrificed for the Soul Stone, guess what? You don't come back. So, Black Widow, bye. Gamora, the one that we know from Guardians, bye. So,
Yeah.
You're either giving us an origin, or you're going to retcon some shit and pull some stupid multiverse time travel crap on us.
So
Either way, too little, too late. It's garbage.
I looked up on eBay. If anyone's interested, which probably not, because this is the way people are. For a batch of Deathlock comics from number 1 to 11 from 1999. And this is how cheap it is to get into some of these early late 90s, early 2000s Deathlock books. For 1 to 11. You want to take a guess on how much you're spending?
$3.
$20 for an entire 11 issue run.
More than I expected, but still actually rather cheap for 11 issues.
Yeah. So
Considering they charge $5 a piece.
Copper Age Deathlock for the 1 through 4 volume 1 complete, $20. Plus someone's asking $20 plus 20 shipping. You can go fuck yourself for that price.
Oh yeah, that's a scam. Fuck that. Fucking eBay.
Deathlock 404 of Doombusters. The X-Men Fantastic Four crossover in 91.
Oh yeah, the little miniseries they did.
$3 plus $3 shipping. That's reasonable. But it's only issue number 4. Deathlock number 1, 7, 14, 15, 19, 24, 25, 26. Bid 99 cents right now with $6 shipping. For
99 cents with $6 shit. Holy fuck.
That's just
less than $10.
That's just the bid right now. You're talking $7 right now. It's still got 9 days on it, and that's just for bidding.
I mean, shit, to put that in perspective, if you wanted to buy a miniseries with Marvel's asking price, that's
Deathlock Special
that's
number
a
1.
miniseries.
Deathlock Special number 1. $125, $375 shipping. It's still really fucking cheap. See, nobody picked up Deathlock. Deathlock versus Doctor Doom number 3, $125 with $375 shipping. Uh, Deathlock number 4. And you got to remember, Deathlock wasn't introduced until about 92, 93. So, like, there are no 80s books to go off of. He was a relatively new character.
If I remember correctly, he came around before Deadpool.
Oh, yeah. No, Deadpool was a joke. Deadpool was... we know for a fact Deadpool was a joke.
Yeah, he was making fun of Deathstroke. I think
Oh,
Deadpool came around in what? 90, 95, 97, something like that?
95. Are there many chapters? It's hard for me to tell without looking, but I'm looking on eBay. Deathlock issues 1 through 14 and its first annual, $25. Ooh, with free shipping.
Damn, that's actually not a bad deal for an annual.
Oh, I can't help myself. I'm
You
not
kind
letting
of buy the annual.
I dude, I miss having my copies of Deathlock. I think Deathlock only ran 30 issues though, didn't it?
Uh, oh, I'm trying to remember because I was never big into Deathlock, but if I remember correctly, it was like what, 30, 33 issues, 34, something like that.
I'll look it up right now. Let's see, Deathlock. How many issues? How many issues
For the first run, anyway.
for? Let's see. Real
I
name
know
unit
it couldn't have been more than 40.
L17. Do you want to know? Do you want a list of the aliases that Deathlock has had? Like the Deathlock is always the unit, right? But like here's the list of how many people have been Deathlock, and it would be really good to get all of these to get at least one of these other than Mike Peterson. They fucked Mike Peterson up completely. Um, but there have been a bunch of aliases he's run under. So there's Luther Manning, which was the original Deathlock in '91. Michael Collins, the Demolisher, John Kelly. President John Kelly was a Deathlock. Holy shit. Jack Truman, Larry Young, Mike Travers, which, if you know anything about Deathlock, uh, you'll know that was a name used in a Futurama episode. If you can tell me what the Futurama episode is, you win 10 points. Robert Sanders, pacifist. There was a cybernetics expert. Chrome Dome was also used to talk about Deathlock Monster, Sir. Cybertech's killing machine. Kelly, in reference to John Kelly. Captain America. Yes, Deathlock was Captain America at one point for some fucked up reason. Deathlock Prime, when you're talking about Luther Manning. And Mike Peterson.
The Robot Mafia does not know what you're talking about.
I know. But if you can tell me what episode of Futurama he was in, 20 points. We'll up it.
I'm not going to give them the hint. Chat's going to have to find out.
Okay. Yeah. They made a song about Deathlock. Megadeth made a song about Deathlock, did they? I'm gonna have to look that up.
I always felt like Death Clock was always a parody of Deathlock,
I
but
don't think so.
it just feels that way to me. I know that's probably not true, but it's always felt that way. I don't know why. Oh,
No, they
Jelly
didn't.
Duck.
It's not. That's not a song about them. Someone did a fan video using that music,
Uh,
and
well, let's move on.
yeah.
Uh,
So Black Widow is gonna be a hot mess. There's no other way. There's no way it can't be a hot mess considering its timing. Let's move on to Thor's lesbian mother. I mean Thor: Love and Thunder.
oh God, why do we have to go to the fucking cringiest of them all?
Uh,
Can,
because Natalie Portman's back.
Does anyone want to see Natalie Portman? I've actually read some of the Jane Foster female Thor comics, and yes, I am calling her female Thor. Fuck everybody else. Uh, I remember when this actually happened in all new, all different
No,
Marvel.
we need to back up a little bit. We need to back up a little bit and be like, oh, well, Thor's just a title. We need to combat that right fucking now. All right? There was only one other instance of someone not Thor playing as Thor, and that was during the entire Thanos crisis, right? There was a very long stretch of time where Thor had fucked off to Asgard, but he bestowed his powers upon a human being. Right? What was the name of that person, Doku?
God, you're asking me to remember something that I want to forget.
His name was Eric. Eric something.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't remember.
His name was Eric something, and he took over for Thor because Thor had business to attend to. And he was always constantly worried that the Avengers would find out that he wasn't the real Thor, and that he was just a stand-in. This has been the only time someone else has used the name Thor, but it does not mean that it was a title. Thor is not a title. Thor is a person.
Thor is a name. There's always been a very distinct difference. Thor is the name of son of Odin. God of Thunder is the one who is deemed worthy of wielding Mjolnir. They are not one and the same. Just because you can pick up the hammer.
How does it go? Let he who be worthy.
You know what? I have the fucking bottle opener for this because yes, I'm a nerd. I'm not even joking. I have the bottle opener for it. Let me pull this damn thing out.
But it is a slap in the face to equate that, to compare it to even suggest that it is the same thing when handing it over to whatever the fuck her name is.
Okay, here we go. This is what it is. Whoever holds this hammer, if he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor. That still does not imply that Thor is, I don't know, whoever the fuck you want it to be. The power of Thor, God of Thunder, yes, but that doesn't mean your name is fucking Thor. It means you're worthy of possessing the power of Thor, God of Thunder.
You can use the name Thor all you want, but it doesn't make it true. Just like I can use the name Doku, but I'm not Doku. You see?
Yeah, you have the power of the God of Thunder, but it doesn't make you Thor.
So let's talk about this. Let's talk about Love and Thunder, and then we're gonna skate past this. All right, we're just gonna fucking hit it and run. All right, because apparently, Tessa Thompson's character, who they call Valkyrie, which I'm already fucking sick with rage from because there was never a character called Valkyrie in the fucking show. They were all Valkyries, and Thor used to call them Valkyrie because that's what their statue was. He was basically insulting them by going, "Hey, policeman!"
Yeah, it's Valkyrie was not the name. It was, again,
It's
you already said it better.
It's a title. Valkyrie is a title, and by calling, if you know someone's name, and you call them officer all the time, right? Imagine having a friend who's a cop and going, "Hi, officer," every time he walks into the room. "How's it going, officer? How was your day, officer?" That'd be pretty insulting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, hello, soldier. Hello, cop. Hello, fireman. Hello, policeman. It's a fucking title because that's your job. That's your status symbol. That's your social status. It's not your fucking name.
So, Valkyrie's gonna be looking for a girlfriend in this movie. Big fucking deal. It's none of my business, and I'm just going to say this, and we're gonna move past. There's no comments from the peanut gallery after I say this because I'm pretty sure you and I.
Chandor? Shandor, get it right. She's looking for her queen
Doesn't matter.
because she's king now.
I'm going to say this, and there's not going to be any comments from the peanut gallery after this because you and I feel the same way about this. It doesn't fucking matter who has make the movie. Fine, make the movie all you want. But unless you're making a movie like The Crying Game, I don't give a shit. All right? That's number 1. Number 2, no one gives a shit who is between what's legs. What two adults do behind closed doors is none of my fucking business. So unless you're turning Thor into the Crying Game, which you won't because you seem to have a problem with the Crying Game, just fucking move on. So let's talk about Blade.
Man, you weren't joking when you said let's just move out of this one.
No, I'm not, because I said my piece. There needs to be nothing expanded upon here. So let's go into Blade. Let's talk about Blade. They got a new actor for Blade, so it won't be Wesley Snipes, which fine, I guess. I want to see the Howling Commandos. Do you think they're going to bring in the Howling Commandos?
Eh. I hope so, but probably not.
Well, considering we're getting a Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness, and we're getting the Eternals, and we're getting a Blade reboot, it's possible we could be seeing the Howling Commandos for 2021, 2022. If that is the case, I might just shift focus, like how I only watch the Avengers movies. I might go see just the Blade movies if they're decent, which we know that's not going to happen. But if there's a potential to introduce the Howling Commandos, I'll go see it. So what do we think Blade's going to be about, other than vampire hunting?
Well, first off, what you're asking me is to expect that Disney is going to be competent and actually produce something that Marvel, specifically comic fans, want to see.
I'm only trying to take off the negativity hat. That's all I'm trying to do. I don't care what you feel about it, what you think about it. I just want to see what you think about it.
And I guess there's a possibility. If I had to say, out of everything that Marvel says is coming through the pipeline, Blade is probably the one that I have the most hope in. I think that could be good because Hollywood's really good at throwing out crap that we've already seen before. So yeah, I guess there's a possibility.
I mean, Hollywood has a really good history of really, really good monster movies or really, really bad monster movies. There's no, like, it was just meh.
We'll probably get the same type of thing we saw from all of the other Blade movies, where it's gonna be vampire hunter. It'll be geared towards the normie audience. It won't be geared towards comic fans.
I mean, the first Blade was geared toward normies, and it was a smash hit. Jelly Duck says someone Ali as Blade is playing Blade. Yeah, I cannot pronounce his first name.
Don't ask me because I can't.
I don't know how to say that, and I'm not going to try and say it. I know it sounds a dick move, but I
will say this. I have no issues with the casting. And I will put that out there right now.
No, I don't have issue with the casting either. He looks like he could play a good Blade. I've never heard of the dude, so I don't know what his acting chops are. I don't know if he's got the skill. And just like when I called I called the Joker movie. I'm going to say I fucking called it, right? Let's go off on a side road. I was able to fucking called the Joker movie being a dumpster fire from day one, and I got shit on by Carl, by you, by Nurgle. And what happened?
Oh well, I'm gonna defend myself on this one real quick. I said that this movie was going to be a movie that's essentially
we're talking Joker here, just to clarify.
Yeah. I said this movie was essentially going to be Psycho rebranded, and the only reason they're calling it Joker is because they want brand recognition for it. But it's not going to have anything to fucking do with Batman or Nightwing or Harley Quinn or anything like that. No, it's going to be a standalone film that has nothing to fucking do with the DC universe, and it's something that some script somebody pulled out from a back room somewhere, and it's like, yeah, this is a good script, but how do we sell it? Oh, I know. Let's take the main character and put some fucking clown makeup on him and brand it as Joker.
Yeah. So I was able to from day one call Joker because I'd never heard of Joaquin Phoenix. I've never actually heard of him. I may have seen him in
He's not
something.
a bad actor.
I may have seen him. I'm not saying he is, but I've never heard of him. And any time that you pull off something that myself, a movie buff, or normies alike, have never really heard of someone, you're gonna get questions, right? And I questioned the validity of the movie. And then I heard that it wasn't going to be attached to anything in the DC universe. I'm like, all right, this movie's doomed from the start. And everyone called me negative. Stop being so negative, blah, blah, blah. I was able to call it. With this one, I can't call it. Because it does look like he could, like, I believe the dude as Blade, right? I see him and I'm like, okay, yeah, Blade. It works. So at least the casting is good. Right? With casting that lead. Now we need to...
Let's be honest. Let's be honest here, Shandor. This, the Joker movie, along with the Blade movie, it's all about branding. The movie itself could be good, the acting could be good, the directing could be good, everything about it could be good. But the reason they're putting these titles and labels on because they want to brand it as something because they want people to go spend their money on it.
And the only reason I didn't bring that up is because A, I didn't want to be Mr. Cynic, right? I wanted to step out of that role, Doku. And then B, it's like that. It's like Captain Obvious again. You know, he's gonna be punching you in the balls very soon, Doku. Jelly Duck says the new Joker looks good. I don't know. I don't have any faith in it at all.
I mean, as a standalone, it could be good. I mean,
right,
it will be a good movie, but it won't matter the fact that it's called Joker. It has nothing to do with the DC universe.
Yeah.
It's a one-off.
They should have just left the title alone. They should have just called it Arthur. They should not have said, okay, it's connected, but it's not connected. End of story.
Yeah, it's a market. It's really the name and everything else. It all boils down to a fucking marketing tactic. That's all it is.
Here's the biggest question I have. How is, given what I know about Marvel's current wokeness, there is a very strong relationship between Blade and Whistler. A relationship that they really try to hammer home in the first Blade movie. Right? How is that going to translate to this movie?
Oof.
Are they going to use politics in this movie? Are they going to be like, well, Whistler can't be white. We need to blackface Whistler. And let's be honest here. I tweeted this earlier. Is that swapping a character's historic race, if they're white, is just socially acceptable blackface. Are they going to do that with Whistler in this movie? What kind of relationship is he going to have with Whistler? Is the story going to remain intact, or are they going to continue their, let's just throw it out the window and see what our writers come up with?
Honestly, I'm not really sure how to answer that one because
it's tough.
There's a part of me that thinks if they can't swap the character for something that's whatever they want it to be, there's a good possibility they might just leave the character out completely. I really don't know what direction they'd take Whistler in.
I mean, it's not like you can just leave him out, because even in the animated Marvel movies, he makes an appearance, right? Like, remember the Howling Commandos movie they made not too long ago? Or did you not see it?
I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I have to tell you this. Let's be honest. We're talking about Disney here. So if they think there's going to be enough backlash that yeah, swapping this for that is gonna undermine them, there's a good possibility they might just leave the character out entirely. And with Blade, you could do that.
That's
I
you
mean,
could,
you
but
really
it's
could.
you could, but it's not a good idea because he has such a
Oh, I'm
strong
not saying it is.
it has such a strong tie to it, which now I'm starting to get nervous. Now I'm starting to get nervous that maybe they're not going to do Blade any justice. And while it
That's my fear because again, we're talking about just seeing what Disney is doing with the MCU. I wouldn't put it past them to just leave out any of those darn problematic characters. Mark my words, if if they can't if they can't swap the character with something that isn't woke or politically correct, they'll just fucking leave the character out. Fuck the fans, right?
I
They've done it
suppose.
before.
Um so we've already talked Shang-Chi, we've already talked Eternals, we've already talked Doctor Strange, we've talked Thor, we talked Black Widow, we're just now getting finished with Blade. Um, are you ready for a movie that you never asked for, that you never wanted to see?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Loki.
Yeah.
There, we don't need to say anything about Loki. Streaming, it's gonna be a show starring Tom Hiddleston, streaming on Disney Plus. I don't fucking care.
And you know the I think it was Marvel Now had a run with Loki in the comics, and surprisingly enough, that run was actually pretty good. But I don't think they'll. I don't think it's going to translate well into movie or TV form.
Yeah.
It it works as a comic, and Loki's a great character. Don't get me wrong, but I just it's just going to be full of a bunch of politically correct bullshit. You already know, just because of the
Jelly
way
Duck is
Loki's
saying
character is.
so many pains in the ass. Yeah, I agree. Um, we can move past Loki. I don't honestly believe there's anything there.
Well, there's
Um,
nothing to say about it. It's just going to be the same shit as Agents of Shield. That's
yeah.
what it's going to be.
Then we've got Marvel. I'm taking this directly out of the Digital Spy article here. Marvel also confirmed their first ever animated series, What If? Because Marvel's never had, you know, animated series before.
Yeah, well, I guess they're saying it's the first what if.
No, they're saying it's the first ever animated series.
Oh well.
Like, they
Oh god.
okay. Marvel did all the principal animations for the '60s Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends cartoons, for the Incredible Hulk, for Fantastic Four. They did it all for the Avengers cartoon that didn't really get off the ground. They did it for the '90s Spider-Man cartoon. I can you not pick a Marvel show that was not directly influenced or animated?
Even the Deadpool Spider-Man thing, like
Yeah,
really that
Ultimate Spider-Man.
that's just yeah, like that's just a fucking blatant lie. Like what the
Yeah.
fuck are you
So
smoking?
I guess the only real news here is that it's going to be an animated series where all the movie people come back to voice their roles. And Jeffrey Wright is playing the Watcher. So I'm guessing that this show is going to take place from the Watcher's point of view, going like, "Oh, well, this is something that happened, ladies and gentlemen, in a different universe."
But okay, so here's my big question.
Don't think
Why would you do the what if storyline
to
in
fucking
animated
memes.
form?
Fucking memes. I'll get back to that. You just remind me what the question is. But we have Jelly Duck in the chat going, Hulk is my favorite character. Then memes going, I like Hulk. Memes has this fetish for saying I like things in the chat.
God damn it, memes.
I would say it's a fetish because he seems to beat off to it. I could be wrong completely.
There's a joke there, but I don't want to get the channel banned.
Starting to get thirsty here. I should have brought some water down with me. But
Oh.
yeah.
So
what was your question, Doku?
It,
Do you have to...
So here's my question: why would you do the what if storylines in animated form?
They've already been doing it in movie form for the last decade, right? Why waste your time with this? And how many people?
It makes no sense.
How many people are subscribing to Disney Plus just to watch Marvel stuff? Like, are you really that stupid? Like, seriously, if you're subscribing to Disney Plus just to watch Marvel stuff, just to watch Disney stuff in general, I think you're a total idiot. I mean, it's your money. Go ahead, do what you want, but you're an idiot.
Well, how many people even know what the what if storyline is even about, let alone are willing to spend money to watch an animated version of it?
Unless they do an exact recreation of the What If comics, like the one where what's her face becomes Spider Girl.
Yeah, like with fucking Mary Jane, she takes over the mantle, or like you could do the one where Ultron actually wins. Like, there's a ton of what ifs out there.
Yeah.
But nobody's gonna subscribe to Disney Plus just to watch What If.
I'd rather just read the What If comics. So let's
and the thing
move
is,
on.
They're all like the other thing, all of the What If stories, they're like 4 comics, so you'd be watching 1 episode each time. Like, what does Disney think they can really milk out of it? It's just dumb.
So it's a Disney Plus show. Then we have Jeremy Renner. Sorry, Runner. I don't know why I said that. But we got Jeremy Renner coming back for the Hawkeye TV show for Disney Plus. You were right, Doku. It was a show. I'm sorry, I fucked up. And it's said to introduce Kate Bishop, so we could be getting Young Avengers. Kate Bishop, if you don't know, becomes Hawkeye's protege, and then later becomes Hawkeye in all of Wokedom Marvel. So we can skate past that.
Yeah, it's gonna be trash. That's all that needs to be said about it.
And that's all I have for this article, because there's like some other stuff that got confirmed afterwards. Fantastic Four was confirmed. So we can talk about Fantastic Four. If they're using the Eternals as a stepping stone to introduce, say, Galactus, how is this going to play out?
I honestly don't know, because it's just such a weird way to introduce Galactus. This goes back to what I was saying originally. Post Thanos arc, Marvel doesn't seem to have any real direction. So it's just like, okay, who's the next big bad? Oh, well, we'll use Galactus. We'll throw the Internals in there. Maybe toss in Adam Warlock, the Guardians, Thor, but we'll make her female. None of it makes sense. It seems completely and utterly haphazard. It just reeks of the same kind of crap that Disney did with Star Wars. There's no direction. There's no long-term plan. They're just throwing darts at the fucking dartboard to see what the hell will stick. There's nothing Disney has shown me that I'm excited for. Why do I care? aside from giving us a Black Widow movie that people have been asking for 7 frickin' years, why do I care about any of this shit? Let alone why am I going to spend my money on it?
Well,
It
the bigger thing here is that there's no place in a post Thanos MCU for the Avengers. There's no place
I-
for
and
it.
it, and again, that's the other thing that concerns me is normally I would say like, okay, yeah, you get a Black Widow prequel movie for all the Black Widow fans. Maybe introduce some new stuff. You got some Disney streaming stuff. All you Guardians fans, you get Guardians 3. The one thing that sticks out to me that just seems like a gigantic red flag is the Doctor Strange movie. And I have a feeling they're going to use the multiverse crap and use that as an excuse to just retcon anything that is not a financial success.
Here's some good news though, at least for the first year of this whole thing. Here's the good news. You ready? Um, there's no Captain Marvel 2 announced, at least not yet. They could be waiting to pull it out like in between movies, kind of like you need to see this before you see this. And there's certainly a lot of room there for that. But there's no Captain Marvel 2. There's no Spider-Man 3 announced, which thank God. I am hoping it goes back to Sony and Sony does a really good job now with the Spider-Man franchise, especially considering that there's this whole Venom movie universe going on, right? There's going to be a Venom sequel. We already know that. We don't know when it hits, but we know it's coming out within the next year or two.
Until I see a rated R Carnage movie, I have no faith.
It's got to be. It has to be rated R. There's no way it can't be rated R.
Well, yeah, because it's fucking Carnage. There's the same way you couldn't do a PG-13 Deadpool and actually stay true to the character. There's no way you could do a PG-13 Carnage.
You could do a PG-13 Venom Carnage movie. You could do a PG-13
But it would be trash though. It wouldn't do the character
not
justice.
you would have to have someone really talented the behind the director's chair, and you would have to CG out all the blood. Like there couldn't be any blood in it, but you could still do all the same stuff. Like take for instance the the scene in the original Deadpool movie where he's trashing up the highway, right? Take for instance that scene. You cut out the part where the dude is flung against the billboard, and then you cut out where all the blood, pops up. Like when you see it go through people, and then when you see the sword go through people, and you see it get stuck to, when you see it get stuck to the sword or splashed on the camera or something, you cut that out. Yeah, the violence is still there, but you're not seeing the impact of the violence.
But still, that still takes away the impact of it. Like with the same way that
Only
Deadpool and the
only so much.
with the over the top violence and gore combined with the comedy, that's what makes Deadpool unique. Is because it should be over the top violent and gory, but because of the comedic elements of it, that's what gives the comedy its umph. Because it shouldn't be funny, but it is. Versus on the other end of the spectrum, if you're following Carnage as either an anti-hero or a villain, especially if you're going to do Venom versus Carnage, it should be more of to the tune of a horror movie. You still need that kind of visceral reaction, otherwise it feels like one of your balls got cut off and the movie doesn't
I'm not
really
saying
hold the weight that it should.
I'm not saying it wouldn't. I'm just saying that it's possible as long as you have someone talented enough to do it.
Well, it's possible. Doesn't mean
On
it's not going to be garbage.
on another note, Venom 2 is slated for October 2020, so that'll be interesting to watch as it unfolds. Apparently, it's got the same writer from the original movie, Kelly Marcel. So as long as it isn't edited poorly, and as long as they get the screenplay in a better state than the original screenplay was, I think it'll do better than the first movie. It has to have better writing though. This one has to have.
Yeah.
It can't rely on the gimmick of it's not in the Spider-Man storyline anymore. It has to have better writing. It can't just be like, well, this is a gimmick movie. We can just phone it in. You can't phone in this one. All right. The action was incredible. The action was incredible. The all of the action sequences were well done. Um, the story itself had a bunch of holes in it, and the dialogue was terrible.
Oh, and that was the problem with the Venom movie, is it relied way too much on,
It relied too much
hey,
on the gimmick of not having Spider-Man being related to Spider-Man, which is fine. I still
well,
support it.
not even that. It relied way too much on the fact that it's Venom, and Venom is, regardless of what you think, Venom is a fan favorite, and everybody wants to see a movie that has a good Venom. Not that weird emo crap, but an actual legitimate Eddie Brock Venom. That was the selling point of the movie.
It does
It
look
just didn't
like
execute it very well.
I will say this. I think Kelly Marcel is a Spider-Man fan. All right? If nothing else, I think Kelly Marcel is a Carnage fan. Why else would she write in Carnage the way she did? Right? Look at how Carnage was written into the end of the movie. That was
Oh, I
the
agree.
best part of the movie. And that's why so many people went and saw it. At least that's my opinion.
Well, and that's because everybody wants to see the symbiotes, because the best thing about the symbiotes is they're not the type of characters you're going to see in your normal, superhero movie.
Right.
It's more of a horror movie than anything else.
The best.
Which is why, if you're gonna do a Carnage movie, that needs to be rated R.
Right.
Because Venom's badass. Don't get me wrong. Venom's sort of like Punisher. You can pull off PG-13 Venom, but if you're going to do Carnage, it needs to be rated R, because I guarantee you Carnage fans will flock to that, myself included,
Do you know what the
even if
best
the writing is trash.
You know what the best part of this is? Is they could easily do Maximum Carnage without having to rely on
Oh,
anything from the MCU. They don't need it because because we know Sony has the Spider-Man doppelganger, right? We know they have the Spider-Man doppelganger. They could easily explain the Spider-Man doppelganger as, because you know how Shriek adopted the doppelganger as kind of her
yeah.
pet or her son or whatever the fucked up story is with that. We know Shriek adopted him. And they could easily explain that away as being like as being a spore of Shriek.
See, here's the funny part about Venom and Carnage. If if there is a movie that you actually do have to pander to the fans, Venom and Carnage, those two types of movies, that's when you pander. But it won't be because of my representation or this or that. It's like, no, you have to pander to these characters because they are probably the most horrific thing ever to come out of a Spider-Man comic.
Oh yeah.
You have to pander to that fan base, and that's a really strong, really dedicated fan base. You will make money by pandering, but it won't be because of political correct bullshit. It'll be because Venom and Carnage are really unique characters as far as Marvel villains go.
Um, I sent you something to your DMs, Doka. You take a look at it. But yeah. So Marvel 2020 is going to be a mixed bag at best, I think. Right? Did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's I don't have hope, to be honest. I really don't. And Dade, we're keeping this one short, so we'll talk after the show, but we're keeping this one, just one,
Yeah,
two.
we're actually going to be wrapping up here in a minute. I got stuff to do. But Marvel 2020 is going to be a mixed bag. I honestly think my money is going to be, if we're being honest, my money is going to be that the comic book movie is going to start to flop. Okay? It's been over a decade. Movie franchises don't go past a decade. They just don't.
Yeah, I mean,
And
it would be nice to see the MCU build off of what it's managed to develop, but you know, they've been building up to everything they've built up to for 10 years, and this goes back to what I was saying originally. They don't seem to have much direction going forward, so
and a lot of
eh,
here's the important thing to address before we head on out of here. I think this is the last. This is going to be final word here. The important thing to address is that a lot of people are done with the MCU because it started and ended with Iron Man. No one cares about any of the other characters, and that's it. That's all there is to it. Like Avengers Endgame ended MCU for these fans, and they're ready to move on. And I think that's going to be one of the defining traits going into the 2020s.
well, so here's going to be the real test. If if they can introduce a new set of characters, a new plot line, the same way that everything post first Avengers movie, if they can manage to pull that off and get us interested, that'll be one thing. But I really don't see that happening.
I don't either. But anyway, folks, we're gonna head on out of here. Remember, folks, tip your waitresses, and as always, stay metal.